I would like to start with the following. First and foremost, my name, that is very important. I am Sibongiseni Mgolozeli, and I am the new president of this club, Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. This is our first meeting of the year 2023/2024. No, I'm wrong. 2024/2025. And since we're a new baby, a relatively new club, we are just over a year old. And this is our meeting number 31. For those who have the program, you will see that this is actually meeting number 31. And we also have a theme and a quote that we love. All of these things actually are for a purpose. I would like to start with the quote of the day, which I love so dearly, because for us as visionary readers, we're all about reading. And for that matter, I believe that not all people are into the culture of reading. But the fact of the matter is, if I can quote J.K. Rowling, who is the author of the Harry Potter book series, she said, "If you do not like to read as yet, it means you haven't found the right one." So as a book club, we are actually promoting the culture of reading. And we do that by aligning that mission. That is actually our mission. So our vision now, we want to see each and every African home with a bookshelf. And as long as that bookshelf is bigger than your television screen, we are happy. For now, if you are connecting the dots already, you can see with this introduction, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I am starting my welcoming address. If I had forgotten to mention, we have visitors, we have guests in this meeting, of course, the members of the club. So with all that being said, my aim today is just to highlight, since it's the new beginning, the theme of this meeting is called the magic of new beginnings. I would like to start by highlighting our values, our ideals, our mission, our purpose, and in line with those of Toastmasters. In this new beginning, since it's the new Toastmasters year, 2024-2025, I have a question that I would like you to answer, not in this meeting or in this chat, but to yourself. The question is, what are your values? What are your principles? What are your ideals? What is your mission in life? What is your vision? And what is your purpose? I know that is a lot, especially said very fast within a very short period of time. I'll make it easier for you. If you have to write something, please write. This will be my speech title as an opening statement or welcoming address. VIPs and MVPs. So at Toastmasters, we pride ourselves as kings and queens of acronyms and abbreviations. So I'm sure by now, when you hear VIPs and MVPs, you know exactly what is that a short form for. So for VIPs, you know it's actually a very important people or very important person. And for MVPs, most valuable person. Now, let's start with the VIPs. VIPs are usually this is something that I came up with. This is something personal. Let's say now I'm asking that question. What are your values? That is the V. And then for P, what are your principles? That is also personal. And then for I, what are your ideals? Your ideals could be codes that you live by. I'll make an example shortly regarding my own VIPs. Then secondly, which also aligns with not only about maybe your organization, perhaps your business for those who are business-minded. The MVPs now, the M stands for the mission. What is the mission of your company or your organization? And then the V there, instead of the values on the side of personal VIPs, the V in MVP stands for the vision. Each and every organization or a company must have a vision that is pursuing. The leader of that company or organization must lead the whole organization into the accomplishment or the realization of that vision. Finally, the P, the purpose. So the purpose of the organization of the company is also very important. It gives a sense of belonging to the members of the company or the member of the organization. In short, now, without telling you about my core values, or I want to focus now on the MVPs of Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. The M for us, the mission, we know what is the mission of Toastmasters group is to create a very warm and welcoming environment so that members can grow in their public speaking and communication skills. For us, in support of that, as I've said earlier, our mission is to promote the culture of reading within the African continent and beyond. Fortunately, we have a recording. This meeting is being recorded. It will be shared on Zoom. So if you miss that, you can always refer back and then you can get it into details. And then the the V in the MVPs are for Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. Our vision is to see each and every African home with a bookshelf. And as long as that bookshelf is bigger than your television screen, we are happy. We just came back from the club officer training, and our trainer as president encouraged us to to basically make sure we start and not do things haphazardly in the beginning of the meeting, but we must make sure we write something that will give more information to our guests as well as visitors. So each and every meeting now, the president must make sure that they give a very inspiring opening address up to about 5 to 7 minutes. So each and every meeting, expect a 5 to 7 minutes opening address that is trying to encourage the members to find the core or the reason for the existence of the club or our selling point. So, fellow Toastmasters, with all of that being said, that is who we are as Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. That comes to the end, or that's the conclusion or concluding remark of my opening address. At this point in the program that we basically on item number 2, which is program information. Without wasting more time, I would like to save more time by saying we do not have any changes so far in the program. Everything is as it is for those who saw the final program that was shared, I think, a few minutes before we started the meeting. And I'll now following through the program. Next up in the program will be none other than our general evaluator, Sibongile Mtsweni, who will take us through, and her team in terms of explaining to us what will be their respective roles entail. Without further ado, over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Dr. Sibo. I thought we introduced the Toastmaster of the evening first for him to have a few remarks, and then he will then call the team that will support him in steering this meeting forward.
I see. I think for some reason, I had to change the program in that format so that the Toastmaster of the day only has to come in when it's time for the prepared speeches. But it's okay. If he's comfortable to do that, he can jump in. But I'm afraid now, in case he didn't prepare anything, but if it's okay with him, he can take over and then hand over to you. Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
He was born ready.
Awesome.
He was born ready.
I love that. Okay, cool. Over to you, James.
Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. I must say, I do not have the program today in front of me in order to be able to read out sequence by sequence everything that will play out. I unfortunately have the list only of the 2 speakers I will be introducing before they speak. So unfortunately, on this occasion, I am always ready, but there was a few slippery moments leading up to the meeting now, so I will not be able to fulfill, being Toastmaster the evening today so efficiently.
No problem, James. Let me rescue you. Dr. Sibo, please send him the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sibongile Mtsweni, and I will be your general evaluator for this meeting tonight. Sorry, my people here, they are, please put your phones down. Thank you, I love you. All right, as a general evaluator, my duty tonight is to evaluate everything that happens in this meeting and everything that doesn't happen in this meeting. I love this role. I excel at it because I get to evaluate everybody in this meeting and nobody gets to evaluate me. So without further ado, I would like to call upon, I'm not doing this alone. We are the support system of the Toastmaster of the evening. So I'm going to call upon our grammarian. That's the first person I would like to call upon. Quickly go to my agenda. We've got our grammarian, that's Malihlohonolo. Malihlohonolo, I'm not sure if I saw her in the meeting. Please come to the virtual podium and describe your role.
Thank you, General Evaluator of the evening. Good evening, everybody, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm really excited to be here tonight. My name is Malihlohonolo and I am the grammarian for tonight's meeting. That is the police for the evening to make sure we do not butcher the Queen's language. So I will be looking at how we use the language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. And as a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day, which is appetency. And this is in light with our theme, which is the magic of new beginnings. So we talk about appetency, which is a strong desire or craving. So think about having an appetite of new things. I look forward to policing everybody, and hopefully you will use the word. I will also add it in the chat for your ease of reference. And I will give a report of my grammarian report at the end of the session. Thank you very much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Malihlohonolo. Now that was appetizing, just listening to what you'll be doing and giving us the word of the day. I would now like to call upon our accounter, who is Nompumelelo. Nompumelelo, please come to the virtual podium and describe your role.
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the account is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler words, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase, such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Madam GE.
Thank you so much, Nompumelelo. Long time. I haven't seen you in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to call upon our timekeeper. At Toastmasters, we value time. We understand that you are here for a purpose. Our timekeeper is Guhle. Guhle, please come to the virtual podium and describe your role.
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. My role today would have been the timekeeper, meaning I would time all the speakers, starting from table topics, the formal written speeches, and the evaluators. I would then signal as they reach the respective times using green, yellow, and red cards to denote the specific times remaining. However, I want to apologize. I cannot log in on my work laptop using the meeting code. It doesn't accept it. Now I'm on my phone, so I can now use the flash card. So I'm not sure how do we deal with that because I'm connecting now using a cell phone.
Hi, Guhle. How I can assist you with that is you look for anything that has the colors of the timekeeper's cards. If you go to your cupboard, you grab a green cup, you grab a red cup, you grab a yellow cup, and you just make sure that your camera is on. When the time comes at 5 minutes, you show your green cup or a scarf or a shoe anything that you can find, you can be creative about it. It will work. That normally works. Just please take us each segment of the speeches.
Okay, noted. I'll do that. Let me get that in order.
Thank you. Without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to call upon our table topics master, who's also going to do a toast according to the program. That is Dr. Sibonseni Mgolozeli, the president of Visionary Readers Toastmasters Club. Dr. Sibo, over to you.
Thank you so much, Madam GE, and good evening once more time to all our guests, visitors, and fellow club members. A toast of own choice is basically a toast that is dedicated to our beautiful country, South Africa, and its beautiful people. So before I propose that toast, I kindly ask all of you to have at least a cup with you, or any container for that matter. It could be a glass, and make sure that it's charged, meaning it has some liquid in it. It doesn't matter if it's just pure water or a hot beverage like coffee or tea, or it could be an other beverage, alcohol, wine, or whatever you like, or just juice. So basically, the purpose, like I said, of this toast is just to acknowledge who we are and show pride in our beautiful country. I understand we normally have visitors from different countries. I know Brian is from Kenya joining us, and he will be speaking. But Brian, please, just for now, just pretend you are a South African and repeat after me, like everyone or every participant who is in the room. So it's simple. I'll just say a very short phrase, then you repeat after me, and then kindly unmute and show yourself on video. Because when you repeat after me, I want to hear what you are repeating back to me and also see you as you do that, if that's fine with you. So, fellow Toastmasters, fellow guests and visitors, please help me propose a toast to South Africa and its people.
To South Africa and its people.
Africa and its people.
Thank you.
Cup.
Thank you so
South
much.
Africa.
And thank you. And now that concludes my task. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you so much. Just, I think that ends it for me. At the end of the meeting, I will be giving my report on the findings or of the observations of ensuring that we have a quality Toastmasters Club event. Basically, my segment is total quality management. Dr. Sibud, if I may, since I'm still on the podium, I would like to introduce James.
Please go ahead.
Two sentences, as I don't know
Hello.
him very well. James is in the UK, based in the UK. He is a Toastmasters. He's been for some time, fell off the bandwagon and came back. He is a member of Soweto Siyaka in South Africa. And I know that he's also looking at a club where he can attend in-person meetings in the UK as well. He loves South Africa, consumes everything South Africa, has come and visited our beautiful country at some point. So please give him a warm welcome as he becomes our Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you for the introduction, Sibongile. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. I will introduce the speakers that we have today. Both have their titles, the pathway levels, and the speeches that they're going to do. So to begin, I must first introduce Brian Matia. And I can see here it's the Visionary Communication Project. Pathway level 3, I have down. Speech 1, writing a speech. Yeah, writing a speech with a purpose. Sorry, just got interrupted in that moment. So the The stage is yours, Brian.
Maybe before Brian takes the stage, can we maybe have his evaluator to give us the criteria of his speech? Before the speaker comes, we have the evaluator, then you take back Mr. Toastmaster, and so forth.
Okay, good evening, Toastmaster of the night. Good evening to other Toastmasters. Tonight I'm going to evaluate the speech of Brian Matia. It's about shared meaning, shared understanding, and the purpose for this speech is understanding a different meaning of communication. With that, I'm going to look at different things. One of those is clarity of the speech, vocal variety, eye contact, gesture. But all I can say to you, Brian, is that relax and be yourself. Give us a speech. At the end of the speech, I'm going to give you feedback in terms of what is it that you have excelled on or at, and also where you can improve if there is anything that you need to improve on. But again, I'm going to highlight a bit about what you can challenge yourself in future. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the night.
Thank you, evaluator Anna. And again, let's repeat once more. Brian, the stage is yours. We're ready to experience your speech this evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Today, I think will be my first time I'm doing a speech while sitting, so just bear with me. I do not have a high table. We rule the world by our words. These were the words by a famous military general in the 1700s by the name Napoleon Bonaparte. He said, we rule the world by our words. In other words, I would say we rule the world by communication. Today, I'm going to attempt to submit to you a different meaning of communication than you're used to. And today's speech, I've split it in majorly two sections. The first one is understanding the current definition of communication. And the second, introducing this new meaning of communication. I will then go on to the first section, understanding the current meaning of communication. Now, with this in mind, I actually went over the dictionary, the actual manuscript dictionary. At least I'm glad this is a book club. So yes, I looked it up in the original manuscripts. And in particular, I looked up at the Oxford Learner's Dictionary. And this is how it defines communication. And I quote, the activity or process of expressing ideas, feelings, or of giving people information. It further goes on and says, speech is the fastest method of communication between people. The activity or process of experiencing ideas and feelings or of giving people information. Now, with that in mind, I am sure you know there are a number of ways people communicate. You have face-to-face communication. If, for example, you are in the office with somebody, you talk to them directly, that is face-to-face. You have emails, you write an email. Whether it's a good or bad email, I will not get into that, but we communicate also through emails. Facial expression, for example, kids are very good at this. You can know whether they are sad, or whether they are angry, or whichever expression that they express. That is also a form of communication. Videos, like on YouTube and so on and so forth. Presentations, and the list can go on and on and on. Now, with that in mind, let us then move to this other second part of introducing a different meaning of communication. And this meaning can be summarized in just 4 words. As one author, Joe Barton, put it, the meaning of communication is shared meaning, shared understanding. Shared meaning, shared understanding. Shared meaning and shared understanding is whereby you as a communicator, you ensure, because it is your sole responsibility, that the meaning of what you're communicating to whomever you're communicating it to is the same meaning that you have in mind. That the same understanding that you have is the same understanding that the person you're communicating to has in mind. And when you come to that clear understanding, you will then realize you are removing all traces of miscommunication. And for example, there's a joke that was said in the military circles, especially in the US, whereby with all the different factions, if you are in the military and you say, secure the building. Now, different army factions will respond differently. The Navy, for instance, they'll probably lock the door and turn off the lights. The army, on the other hand, they'll surround the buildings with defensive fortification, put tanks everywhere, concrete wires, everything to secure this perimeter. The Marine Corps would assault the building in all directions, shooting to make sure everything is out. And the Air Force, they will probably take a 3-year lease and an option to buy the building. But anyway, that is beside the point. If you are the general in this case and you wanted to communicate, and all these people you give out this order and they do not have the same understanding or the same meaning that you have as the general, by default, you are not communicating efficiently. Of course, there are different ways to improve this way of communication. For example, you can improve by being open, creating an open environment that people can reach you, that you are accessible, people can talk to you regardless of how weird their ideas may seem, that they can actually come to you, give their thoughts and say, maybe I don't like this, or I like this, or I don't like this. Remember, in this instance, shared meaning, shared understanding. In conclusion, I would like all of us to consider at the very least this new meaning of communication. Shared meaning, shared understanding. This will drastically improve our communication to others. Let us also remember to be open to new ideas, bad ideas, controversial ideas. It will create the space for people to communicate with us. Let us be available for people to reach us. And in that way, that is a step towards us becoming great communicators. And with that, we will be able to rule our world with our words. Shared meaning, shared understanding. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop.
Thank you, Brian, for a calm, steadily delivered speech, which was easy to take in. Thank you for much of the points you made. And now we will be moving on to a second speaker, who I will introduce, and goes by the name of Tekla Maforo, if I've pronounced that correctly. And I can see here it will be Pathway Level 5, Speech 2, titled An Uphill Battle. And before he speaks, I'd like to pass the focus over to the evaluator of her speech, her or him, I'm unsure. But yeah. On to the evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. I'm back now as an evaluator for our second speech of the evening. And as their pathway has already been introduced, I will just get into the purpose of the evaluation. So the purpose of this project is for the member to reflect on his or her growth during the completion of an entire path. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspects of his or her growth during the completion of the path. So I will be evaluating the speech to see if those purpose statements have been fulfilled, as well as looking for our normal evaluation points such as clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level, as well as interest. All the best to you, Tekla. Looking forward to it. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you for the breakdown, evaluator. Really appreciate that, because many of us participating today, whether we're new or we are experienced, we are familiar with the number of roles required in Toastmasters, and evaluator being an important one, not just to speak, but also to help people have input in helping people develop as better speakers themselves. So thank you for breaking all of that down for the speech she's delivering today and the objectives that go with it. So now I'll be introducing Tekla. It's time now for you to deliver the speech that we're waiting for. Over to you.
I wrote quotes to myself. 1. The easy way out is usually never the best way out. And 2. It's never easy, but it is possible. These quotes, I always share them with members of my support group. And they have helped us to really see how life goes. That even if there are stumbling blocks along the way, it doesn't mean we can't make it. Whenever you are climbing a mountain or a hill, we can all agree that it's no easy task. If you are driving, it means you will need to engage a heavy gear. And if you are going on foot, it means that you have to tap into your physical strength in order to make that journey up the hill. So simply put, we can say every journey that goes to the top requires stamina and resilience. Joined Toastmasters in February of 2024. When I joined, I had 2 simple tasks or 2 simple goals that I wanted to achieve. Becoming a better communicator, and also to just have something to occupy my mind with. Because 2023 was not really a great year for me. So I wanted something that would actually make me occupied, keep me occupied, that I could focus on. So as I began my journey in Toastmasters, I just thought it's going to just be one of those things that you just go into, and you just go through the emotions and you just utilize your time, find something that you can just do, and that's it. But getting there, seeing my fellow club members and the things that they were doing, the things that they were achieving, I started really changing my perspective. I thought to myself, let me get serious with this. Fellow Toastmasters, I wouldn't want to lie. This Toastmaster journey, especially as I was doing this pathway, I can't say it was an easy one. There are times when I was discouraged. There are times when I was frustrated. I even thought to myself, why did I even join this thing? Sometimes I wanted to give up because the project, the elective project that I chose, I don't even know if it was by coincidence or by design, but they were challenging. They really got me out of my comfort zone. Something that I thought I couldn't do. Suddenly, I found myself doing them because I was pushed to the edge that I just had to do it. But one thing I told myself in my life is that when I begin something, I don't want to give up or leave it halfway. That's on itself, for me, that's actually being a loser. To me, that's what I call failure. If I start something, I always want to make sure that I finish it. Either I win or I don't. But at least just let me finish it. So that was the encouragement I had to keep on going. The other thing that encouraged me in my journey in this pathway was that as soon as I joined Toastmasters in February, then came the contest. So I just thought, for an adventure or maybe just to make memories, let me just join the table topics contest. Since I could not qualify for any other contest, I was still doing my level one. So I just thought, let me take on the table topics and just see where it goes. So I joined and I won on the area level. I went to the division level. I won again. Then I went to the district level. That's when the speech I gave that day, I even laughed at myself because the question was going to the left and I went to the right. I even told myself that at this time I didn't make it. But at least I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed the experience because it was really something that I enjoyed. It was an adventure. It was an adventure for me. But that is what told me that I can do this. I can do this. If I could win on something that I've never really competed on, even in school, I never liked public speaking. I was much of a shy person, an introvert. I even had that kind of a stage fright that when I went before people, my voice would literally shake. You know, it could be compared to an earthquake. I would literally shake in front of people. That's how bad my stage fright was. But then having that courage to even go into a contest, to me, that actually was a tick for me. So as I was going through my pathway, I think it was at level 3 or level 4, there was an elective project that I chose that actually challenged me to build a social media presence. In my own normal day-to-day life, I'm not really that much of a social media person. I post here and there. Even my Facebook was dormant. Even my WhatsApp, on my statuses, I wasn't that kind of person who really posted. But it pushed me that I even managed to open a Facebook page and I opened the WhatsApp group. And I started encouraging people. I started a support group. That's what the Facebook page and WhatsApp group is all about. So it was about encouraging people that have been going through traumatic experiences, people that are going through a lot of difficult issues, difficult times in their lives that need support. Because I was also someone who has gone through things like that. And because I could support someone else, so I managed to open the Facebook page and the WhatsApp group. And I said, let me do this. Maybe this is my calling after all. Some things just get revealed along the way in life that you never even knew you could do. That's when I realized that there was a sleeping giant all along within me. Even though I was just pursuing the communication skills, I then managed to find out that I also have leadership skills that are within me. I can also lead other people. I can encourage other people. I can motivate other people to bring out the best within them. So that's what happened to me at the level 4 of my pathway. And until today, I am grateful for Toastmasters because I have had a really beautiful journey. It has been an uphill journey, but it has also been a battle because it really wasn't easy. And also, looking at my lifestyle, the kind of work that I do, it takes a lot of time from my own life. That sometimes to really have time to do Toastmasters business, it was an issue at first. I couldn't really make out an effective program that I could work with. But with time, I managed to make sure that my day is scheduled in an efficient and effective manner, that I could fill up Toastmasters tasks, I could even do role playing in other clubs, I could deliver my speeches, at the same time doing my own work, and also attending to my own family. So Toastmasters really has taught me how to be able to multitask. The other thing that I love about Toastmasters and that I experienced through this journey was that it's not only about learning, but it's also about having fun. I tell you, my club is full of fun and joyful people. I am really grateful for those club members of mine because they are always encouraging me. They always make sure everything is fun. You enjoy the journey. It's not a burden anymore because of them, because of how we do our things. Being a group, we know that we are going forward together. It's not one man for himself, but we are there for each other. Even as I visited other clubs, it's the same spirit throughout Toastmasters. You get help, we get mentors, we get club coaches. So there's every available avenue that helps with encouragement and that helps with pushing you forward in order to fulfill those goals that you have as an individual. And as you make it, you don't make it alone, you make it together. I remember this other African proverb that says, if you want to go it fast, go it alone. But if you want to go it further, go it together. And that's how Toastmasters is all about. That's what it is all about. And that's what it has taught me, even in my own personal life. I would say that even though it has been an uphill battle, but at least I was going up. I wasn't going down. And that's another thing that really encouraged me that this is me developing myself. This is self growth. This is self improvement. I am not losing anything, but I'm actually gaining everything that I can gain from Toastmasters. So I'd just like to urge all of you Toastmasters, no matter how hard sometimes it might seem, no matter how difficult the journey sometimes seems, and you get stuck in some of the levels, reach out, find help. That's why mentors are there. That's why your fellow club members are there to help to push you forward so that you can reach your goals and finish your pathways. I really never thought that I was going to finish a path. I thought I was going to give up. But here I am today, and I wish I could scream and celebrate that I've come to the end of my pathway. And tomorrow I'm going to be giving a speech, my icebreaker for my second pathway. So I'm really grateful for Toastmasters, and this has been my journey. Over to you, Toastmasters, today.
Lovely.
And there we have Tekla. I'd like to thank you for a very impassioned speech that presents to guests and reminds us of the benefits of Toastmasters. You shared a lot with us, the highs, the challenges. It was very engaging. There's even some phrases in there that you said that really stuck out for me. Was going uphill, self-improvement, and yeah, it was so much to it. I really enjoyed it, and it's reviving my my motivation in Toastmasters. That's all I can say because I'm not your evaluator today. So we should now move on to what I believe is the recess, if I'm correct.
That's correct. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening, for conducting that session beautifully. What I love the most is that we are on time, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at your program, this is exactly the time we're supposed to have the recess up until 10, I mean, not 10, but 7 o'clock. So we're 10 minutes before 7 o'clock. So that means we're still now in that recess. So basically, the purpose of the recess, I love what the previous speaker who just finished speaking now said. She spoke about fun and having fun at Toastmasters, having her experience in her reflection on her part as she was completing today. Congratulations to her one more time. So we love to say Toastmasters. If it's not fun, then it's not Toastmasters. What I sense ever since we started the meeting, we haven't been laughing so much. So the recess is time for us just to loosen up a bit and get to network. That's another important part about the recess. Let's get to know each other. I know we're from different clubs. Some people are guests, which means they are not affiliated with Toastmasters. Some people are members of this club. So in terms of keeping that interaction going and having fun, maybe if you are shy to unmute and maybe show yourself on video, maybe before I do that, I make that request in terms of what I would like us to do. The other reason for a recess is that you just notice that two speakers have just finished their speeches. So afterwards, they will come evaluate us to give a full report and give feedback to those speakers. So this recess will give evaluators enough time to go back to their notes and write them in a logical order so that when they come on stage after the recess, at least their notes are back in order and ready to be delivered to their speakers. So that's another reason. So now, since the recess, fellow Toastmasters, please feel free for the visitors. So let's differentiate in Toastmasters meeting between visitors and guests. The visitors are members of Toastmasters who are visiting us from other clubs, while guests are not members of Toastmasters, but they have joined today maybe to learn more about Toastmasters. Maybe in the near future, they are planning to become members as well. So the one big favor to start our conversation, I would like you, since your name is written there already, unless it's not written in full, I want this request. Please type in the chat. Tell us if you are a visitor, the name of the club that we are from, as well as the city and province and country that you are joining us in right now during this recess. I hope that request is simple. If you are a member of the club already, just type joining from Pretoria, like myself. I'm currently in Pretoria, South Africa. And then at least you know who's where. Perhaps your neighbor could be here and you might not even know. So yeah, before we hit the 7 o'clock period, we still have that 5 minutes of recess. You can unmute, maybe tell us where you're from before we also get into the next segment of this program. So let's see in the chat. Maybe for now, I see a very interesting name, Zerina. If you don't mind, I hope I also pronounce your name correctly. Can you show yourself on video? I like your avatar, that video. If you can unmute, tell us your full name, maybe where you're from, if for those who don't mind, because we want to make it fun. Let's laugh, let's create joke during this 5 minutes and try to have some fun. If you don't mind, Zerina, to unmute. There you go.
Hi, sorry about the avatar. I'm not in a very camera friendly state. How are you guys?
Well, I'm good. I'm good. Hope everyone is also good as I am. But I love it. I love it. It's fun. That's what I mean by if it's not fun, it's not Toastmasters. So it made me laugh. It kept me
Yeah, man.
smiling the whole
Yeah.
time. And also it's moving. It's not like a statue there. So I love that. So maybe if you don't mind,
Yeah, it's because you switch on your camera, it like moves with you as well.
oh, no problem.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
mind?
So, hi, my name is Zarina, surname Sivia. From South Africa, Johannesburg. First Toastmasters meeting ever. Heard about it over a couple of years, but
Thank you. But never joined. So yeah, excited to be here. Was actually introduced by James, funny enough. So yeah, he brought me here and I'm loving it so far. It's a really great environment. So I see a lot of growth happening. I see a lot of growth happening.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening, for bringing in guests. Let's hope if your guest is ready to join, even our club is welcome. Zerina, if you want to join us, you love the vibes in this club. So get in touch with us and then we'll do the right thing. Moving on, next thing
Will
that
do.
you are welcome. You are welcome, ma'am. I think I haven't seen much in the chat. Maybe while you still have 3 minutes, I will now put, who else can I put in the spot? Maybe our speaker, Tekla Maforo. And maybe let's give you a spotlight again. If you can tell us, ma'am, what country or what is the name of your club, and also what is the name of your city or town as well as the country.
Okay, I'm from Global Women Extraordinary Toastmasters Club.
Awesome.
My city, Harare, Zimbabwe. But members of my club are actually, some are in the USA, some are in Zambia, someone is in Botswana, but most of us are from Harare, Zimbabwe.
Oh, great. While we are still in the spotlight, ma'am, I would like to invite everyone. I will say this first, especially, I would like to invite everyone to unmute. I want us to give you a big round of applause again. For it's more like finishing a degree when you're finishing a pathway or finishing a course. So I don't think we did a justice to you. I mean, to give everyone context, a whole pathway, it has got 5 levels. Please keep those claps coming. 5 levels, and then in each level you have to do on average 5 speeches. So it takes almost an entire year if you are active at Toastmasters to complete a whole path. So what she just did now, ladies and gentlemen, she was just reflecting from the beginning of her journey. I mean, what a beautiful testimony from someone being shy. I could relate to that. Now I feel like I would have nerves, like you were saying, I was shy, I was reserved, but Toastmasters helped me to get out of that comfort zone. Look at you now. At least we speak with clarity, vocal variety, you're smiling, you're having fun, enjoying yourself. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Right, right. And also, maybe one last time, let's also give a big round of applause to our Toastmaster of the day for doing a stellar job in that segment. Thank you, James. We appreciate it. And before we let you go, I see no one has typed in the chat. I want to ask you, James, specifically, which city in the UK are you joining us from? And maybe how does it work? Do you have provinces over there, or is it like a federal country like this, like the US, where you have states instead of provinces? How does it work? Enlighten us, sir.
You have provinces, but we more refer to them as regions. So you have regions and you have counties. So your region it breaks up as in the southeast, in the Midlands you have the West Midlands, the East Midlands, and then you've got the Northwest and you have the Northeast, then you have the Southwest, and within those regions, then you have counties. So I'm from Coventry. That's a city not far from Birmingham. It's got about 380,000 people. It falls within the West Midlands. In the West Midlands, you've got Birmingham, which is the second biggest, second, third, depending on who you ask. That has 1 million people. And there's a number of cities and towns, but then there's counties. So Coventry is in a separate county called Warwickshire. So that's how we tend to do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I didn't know it's by region, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who's learning here. We come at Toastmasters to learn. And this is also another advantage about online clubs. You get to interact in real time, live, with people from different parts of the world. I know maybe one last person I would like to call on stage is Brian, who was also our speaker. He's from Kenya, but we didn't quite get which city in Kenya he is joining us from. I know he told me the name of his club, but Brian, if you don't mind, just tell us. I hope he's still here. The city you are joining us from, or maybe he left. Okay. No, Brian is not with us. Anyways, we have come to the end of the. Okay, we have come to the end now, ladies and gentlemen, of the recess. I think let's continue while we're still on time, because the Toastmasters were very strict with time. At this point, as we move on, we're on item Number 12, call to order. So cring, 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 cring. Since we don't have the sergeant at arms to call us to order, I've just done that within a second. Item number 13 is basically to introduce our guest speaker. I hope you still have your glasses with you next to you, because we are about to be entertained, informed, and inspired. So take your glass, have something to drink next to you, because even with the introduction itself that I'm about to do to introduce our guest speaker, is going to be a long one and an interesting one. So brace yourself. I need to take a sip before I start with that beautiful, beautiful introduction. I hope you are all ready for our guest speaker. Mr. Guest Speaker, can you just say hi just to ensure that you are with us? And maybe one of the co-hosts can spotlight you, and myself as well. You can now show yourself on video, say, and unmute as I'm about to read your.
Oh my.
Maybe
Great.
Sibongile, can you help in that regard? Do we still have Tabo in the call?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, okay. Okay, beautiful.
Yes. How is this? Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Fellow Toastmasters, you will forgive me. I had this introduction with me not so long ago, but I'm sure I'll get to it within a minute. You see, if you are reading something from online, this is basically his profile on LinkedIn. It's quite a long one, but within a minute, I promise I will be done. So, fellow Toastmasters, it is a pleasure this evening to be introducing our guest speaker. His name is Tabo. Okay, let me make sure I do the right thing. Apologies about that. My goodness, now technology is dribbling me. I don't want to read just a snippet because I'm at your LinkedIn profile now, sir. And I was just not so long ago looking at your bio there, which is very long. And please bear with me. Please bear with me. It's not allowing me now to open the link, but I will try one more time. I'm sure I will be able to do that shortly. Okay, Simo. Okay, let me keep it short because it does. When I say open more, so I'm looking at about, it doesn't give me the opportunity to read the whole thing. So what I want to do, fellow Toastmasters, just to give this brief background about our guest speaker. His name is Tabo Sizo Mahlobo. He is a husband, dad, nation building strategist, innovator, wealth creator, and community investor. Wow, community investor. Think about that, fellow Toastmasters, for a minute. He's passionate about developing smart, sustainable local communities. Maybe I can leave it there. He will tell us himself more about himself. Of course, the purpose of this is for him, since we're a reading club, our guest speaker is someone, he must meet the criteria of becoming an author first. Then he will also tell us, especially the purpose of this talk is for him to actually expand more on one of his books. Apparently, he has 12 books under his name. These are books he has written or co-authored. I'm sure today he will tell us about one or two that he selected to inspire us. And let me not talk any further. Fellow Toastmasters, give him 10 to 12 minutes and a big round of applause as he takes the center stage to tell us more about his books. Over to you, Tabo. Thank you for honoring the invite, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, evaluator, timekeeper, very important person, president of the Toastmaster. It's really such an honor to be here and to share just a bit of my journey and also talk about one of the books that I put together some years back, especially on such a wonderful theme that is called the magic of new beginnings. If I were to have the permission to share one of my few slides. I'm still checking that part. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's such an honor to talk about, to just come in on such a theme, which is the magic of new beginnings. And thank you very much for that beautiful introduction. And I'm so glad that it didn't allow you to read all of it, because sometimes I do not actually quite think that it's a true reflection of actually what you will hear. And actually, as I relay the story, I am such a family person, and most of the time I do show my presentation, show my family, because they're so central towards what you will hear and what we talk about. Now, I have written over 13 books, so I could only fit in 12 books into this picture for the purpose of space. And whenever I write a new book, I always tap into the magic of new beginnings. So writing books always give me a time to reframe a lot of things, and also to begin to craft a new path or create a new pathway in all of that. Now, I'm going to be talking more about this book, The New Economy. This was my first book, and I know that President of Toastmasters had asked me to just probably talk about one of my books out of many, and I chose this one, The New Economy. The background behind this book, it was during 2015 when the nation was complaining about possibility of our economy going worse. And I sat down looking at the news and looking at everywhere. And as an economic student, and also as someone who's been in the bank, I began to say, there must be an alternative. There must be a way. So that pushed me to begin to do some study and do some research on what really happened in 2017, because what really happened in 2007 with the collapse of the financial market. And so it really inspired me to begin to say, let me propose a possible way that there could be the new economy. And so that book, it eventually led me to launch it in Parliament in Cape Town, which began to create really a new beginning, not just for me, but it started a new journey in terms of engaging the different communities and the different people in terms of how can we create solution and how can we make sure that we've got sustainable communities and there's new pathways that we can do that. And apart from that, also, part of the background is that I just recently came back from Israel. I'd met with the president of the state of Israel, and with other leaders in terms of global sustainability, where we're looking at geopolitical and economy as to how can we become involved in our communities, in our nation, to ensure that we also create a lot of sustainable and we make sure that our nation, they're startup nations. And so really coming back into the book, apart from this background, that I've given in terms of really what has created it and how it came about. Really, the book, The New Economy, it was really about me. I mean, when you read the book, it was really about me trying to say, there must be a new way we look at economy. We have to rethink what we think economics is. We have to relook at the metrics that we are using, such as GDP, that we can't just measure economy in terms of those metrics, but we need to prioritize sustainability, social equity, and human well-being, whereby we value people more than just we value some of the metrics we've been using, such as GDP and profit and other approaches. So that, for me, it basically started to look in terms of circular economy, which is basically as you start looking into the book, you start looking into that and looking at sharing economy. How can we collaborate and begin to really share resources? I mean, one of the speakers spoke something about, shared communication and shared meaning. and also shared resources also to a certain degree, that this is something that's really needed to be prioritized. Social economy, green economy, and post-scarcity economy, where we leveraging on technology to provide some of the abundant resources and redefine work. And that's really what really drove also really why I'd put this book together, was also to address some of the things that we're facing globally, so things like climate change, inequality, and social injustice. And so when you go through this book and many of the other books, because the themes are usually more or less the same, because this became a first book which set the tone for the other books, it was really wanting to see communities and nations starting to foster an innovative culture, and where there is more sustainable consumption and production, not just consumption, but also where we promote social and environmental responsibility. As a farmer, I often see these things happening also where we don't care about our environment. And so these are things that we felt that needed to be in the book. And how can we redesign our economic systems and policies, which for the past many years, since 2017, one has been involved behind the scenes to ensure in think tanks and meeting, even behind the scene, that we can really look at some of the changes in the policies to ensure that they are focusing towards empowering the marginalized communities that are out there. And so with the few minutes that I just left, in just summary, if one were to summarize this book look at four critical pillars. It really provide a comprehensive approach into just four things that can make sure that we've got sustainable nation, which are, if we're going to have sustainable nation, we'll have to look into building people, build spaces and infrastructure, build businesses, and create new local economies. Building people means that develop the human capital in our nation through education, skills, and healthcare, empower individuals, and foster a culture of innovation. And building spaces, it means that we need to look into our infrastructures, and make sure that we build sustainable, resilient infrastructure to support the economic growth and invest in a lot of the renewable energy and water management. I just came back from Namibia, where I released a book, The Water is Ours, so that they can look in terms of their water management system, that the drought does not mean they do not have water. They do have water, but they need to find ways as to how they can manage that. And the third pillar, really, as you go to this book, is that there is such a strong sense of we need to build businesses, which means we need to encourage entrepreneurship. We need to support small and medium-sized businesses, but also foster business-friendly environment policies that really promote growth. As you know, that there's sometimes we want to grow businesses, but there isn't really an environment to ensure that businesses, they actually can thrive. And the last part is, as we do the three parts that I mentioned in the three pillars, which is build people, build spaces and infrastructure, and build businesses, what we will see is that we start to see activity happening. We start to see different local economies happening through clusters and through different industrial parks. And we start to see local production and consumption, and also with the other free trade agreement and many other things, we start to see also regional trade and other economic integration. And in that way, we really can begin to see a lot of the new economy. And so the new economy really is about really focusing on these four areas in this book as one of the things that's highlighted, because I believe that by focusing on these four things, we can really create communities that are actually resilient, communities that are actually very collaborative, communities that really not just look at GDPs and numbers, but they also look at the well-being of each and every member. There is a shared meaning, and there is also shared resources that you find that are happening over there. And so, not really going far on the book. The book has been here, I think, since 2016, and it is still one of my all-time favorite books. That as I travel, I actually take it with me, and make sure that it's a book that I give to each and every one that I meet, because every time I look at it, I realize that it was at a darker moment, it was at the toughest moment for our nation. But in that, there was such a magic in terms of ensuring that as I write this book, I began to tap into that magic of new beginnings. I started seeing things differently, and I started seeing hope, and I started seeing our nation as a resilient nation that actually can create new, different pathways for its own community and also for the rest of the nation. So the book is available on online and also on our stores online, and I can give more details also on the chat box. I noted that I missed it on the slides, but all in all is that there is something about writing a book, and writing a book allows you the time to reframe the past and actually tap into the magic of starting all over. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Beautiful. Ladies and
Woo,
gentlemen,
woo,
please
woo.
unmute and let's give him a big round of applause. Well
Wow.
delivered, said. Beautiful.
Wow. Amazing, amazing.
Beautiful indeed. I think, Tabo, after now listening to that presentation, it did all make sense when I was reading your bio. I think this is the first time I had those two words put together, community investor. And also going further, you said you are passionate about developing smart and sustainable local communities. So now all the dots, that presentation connected all the dots, it all makes sense. And thanks to you, and big up to the great work that you are doing, not only for yourself and your family that you so dearly love, as you said in the beginning, showing us your beautiful picture as well. That was heartwarming, I must say. Beautiful. That was a way of capturing your audience from the get-go. We were so glued to our screens and watching. So it was such a lovely, informative, and quite inspiring talk. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you.
What we do, Tabo, after a guest speaker, we allow the audience, because it's quite different from other regular speakers in the Toastmasters meeting. You don't get evaluated because you're a guest speaker. You sound like someone who's been a speaker for such a long time. You did a brilliant job with no need for evaluation to give you areas of improvement. But the questions now are more related to your content, your book, and perhaps there were some gaps that they identified. They need more clarity from your talk. So, fellow Toastmasters guests, the floor is open now. If you have a question for Tabo, we'll take just two. You can raise your hand or unmute, and then afterwards we'll move on to the next segment. I don't know if there's anyone with a question. Okay, I see Sibongile send is up. Over to you, Madam GE.
Thank you so much, Tabo. That was very fascinating. And when a speaker speaks, I normally just put myself in their shoes or take the scenario and put it in my circumstances. And when you spoke about the pillars, that talked to me. By the way, I'm a supply chain professional. And to me, that talks to the triple bottom line, people, planet, profit. And I wondered, in my experience recently, I have seen organization culture change post-COVID, where the people aspect is now neglected and people are more looking at profit. I would say they are highlighting environment, the planet. However, not really. It's still the focus is majorly on profit, but I find that the people aspect is mostly not looked after. Nobody cares anymore. People work long hours. With COVID, the fourth industrial revolution coming through, people are not happy, with their jobs and so on. How would your book or what you had figured out with the collapse of 2007 economic collapse, how can we enhance that? How would that work going forward?
Whoa, Madam G, that's a That's a very interesting question. Well, I'll tell you, it's probably I've probably have 19 years now involved just in working with people and just being involved in terms of whatever work that we do. And I can tell you, having been in the bank, the focus can sometimes be around profits, performance, and all that. But one thing that allowed me, like I said, that once you sit and you start writing, you get to reframe all of these things and say, no, man, this is not proper, and you get to start all over. Like the first thing was to rethink economics. So when I realized that economics that we're learning at school, varsity, was a scam, that was a key, because then I needed to then say, what is then proper economics? And I started realizing economics means stewardship, proper management. And the first thing you have to manage is to manage yourself and to also help manage people. So it means there's a priority must be put on personal development, must be put on the people. So if we were to go transform a nation, let's say we go to a country or a city, let's take any city in South Africa, say we take Bloemfontein. If you're coming in there to provide a change in terms of economics, you can't just come in there and say you're going to do a business. You have to come in and begin to empower the people, because the people there, they form a community, which actually you want them also to be a market, but you also want them to be staff, to be all that. So the focus has to be people. But when you develop people, you must also consider the space they stay in, the environment. Some of their infrastructure is dilapidating. So there is a connection with that. So you can't ignore that. Before you can even focus now on business, business becomes a third thing, because once you start with business, the people, when they're not happy, when they're not well, the well-being of the people, that business is going to face struggle. There's going to be opposition, and so these are some of the thinking that we started looking at as part of the theory of change, how we can use social innovation to say it has to start with people. They have the solutions. Let's help them to unlock the solution in them, and then help them refine them, and they become the enterprises that we want to see, not us coming into plug and play, but we come into support and play a supportive role of the people. And that's empowerment, not the other way around. So the book really, for me, is clear, is to focus on the people. If you develop the people, you actually, you putting in a real investment that even if everything goes away, they can still start from scratch, because they are developed, they are skilled, they actually have all that. So that's why it's a totally different way of looking at economics. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Say, I saw Sbongile nodding there, meaning that she is happy with your answer. I think she said thank you, nodding her head, even though the video or the mic was muted. But I also wanted to ask, Say, in the interest of time, a very quick one. I heard you said you will share the details in terms of how to get the book, or you can share that to me directly. Then I will share in all our book club, and even Toastmasters Club WhatsApp group for more details. The quick question from my side is, how much is this book in particular? And also, when you return so many books, do you give discounts? Let's say if someone buys 5 or 6, but no discount if you buy one. I wouldn't agree if I was you. If you buy one book, you want a discount, it's a big no. Let's say, for instance, I want all the 12 books, and then I'm sure you hear the point. I mean, maybe the question I'm
Yes.
asking here. So over to you.
The book at the bookstore, when you go to the bookstore, it's actually it's 250. That's what that book is in the bookstore. So we do have them there. They are actually all discounted. Or those books at I think it used to be 300, but it's 250. However, like you say, if somebody begins to say, you know what, I want to buy 6 of those books, I want to buy 12 of those books, we do definitely give discount on it. So that it's something that is very much possible. But at the store, you will find that I think there's a link there that Tabi put on the chat. So when you go on that chat, you will see that all of them are there. And so, but when you saying that you want all the books, we're happy to actually have that conversation. I mean, we can do a discount on it. So perhaps we can do a Toastmasters discount also, and say those books, all in all, when they are 12, I think they cost around about 2,000 something. So we can just say perhaps for the Toastmasters, we can have those books at 1,005, all of them, when they are like that, 12. So that's basically to say, again, the idea is not just commodifying the books and all that. Our priority is we want to get that into the people so that they can actually begin to transform their society and transform their nation. The books are, I mean, they're sold in the different parts in Namibia, even in Israel. I just came back, even in the other parts. So it's not just about the book. It's about what happens after the book. It's about even the workbooks, the training manuals, the other things that happens after that to get the nation to build. We care about a nation that is whole. That's why I'm a nation building strategist. I care about a nation that is functional. And that's why. Thank you.
You are welcome, sir. Nation building strategies. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, if you are not inspired after listening to this whole talk and interaction, I think there's no hope for you. I am so inspired. Anyhow, in the interest of time, sir, I think I will get in touch with you on the side. We also spoke with Tabi with the possibility of you inviting you again later on this month on a different platform, but still with the same name, Visionary Readers Book Club. We also have a book club where you can be a guest, and then there will be other reviewers who are reviewing different books, but the setup will be completely different. That will give you more exposure to speak to a different audience, people who are into books now. I think we have about more than 150 members in that. Maybe in the meeting, we'll have an average of 20, 15. It depends if we have a. So those meetings are every last Sunday of the month. But then we'll communicate further on the site and then we'll take it from there. Once again, thank you so much for honoring this invite in our Toastmasters Club.
Thank you very much for making me wear a suit on a Friday night.
I didn't give you heads up about the dress code, but I'm glad anyways. They say first impressions last. I guess some people will buy the book because you looked professional and you sounded professional. So they would be like, one day I would like to be like Tabo. So if I dress like him, I buy his book, I can write my own. Who knows one day?
Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Fellow Toastmasters, let's move right along. We only have 30 minutes before we close our meeting. At this point, we are on item number 14 on the program, and that is going to be table topics. I think a lot of us have came to the virtual stage since the beginning of the meeting. There are those participants who haven't joined or maybe show their face yet. So this segment, Table Topics, is dedicated maybe to give everyone an opportunity to practice their public speaking skills without even necessarily practicing for it or preparing for it for that matter. So the purpose of a Table Topics is basically to teach people to learn how to speak on their feet. This is now my few seconds explanation on what we're about to do. So please be ready to unmute and show yourself on video. But if you can't, that's okay. But please just take it, feel free. I know it's scary sometimes when you are speaking for the first time if you are not a visitor or a Toastmaster, but that is a purpose. We are here to try to learn how to overcome that fear of public speaking. So a general rule in this table topic segment is that you will be given a very short question, usually with less than 10 words. Then you also have about 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes of time you are given to answer that question, however you want to answer it. So this question, you might also decide to think of an anecdote of an experience you've been through, or maybe just an experience, or maybe you've traveled to a place. Just tell us what comes at the top of your mind, with that thing at the back of your mind that, okay, you are practicing how to speak on your feet, and also within that very short period of time, 1 to 2 minutes. So please be ready to participate. What I'm going to do, in the interest of time, I am not going to ask for volunteers. I've identified my participants already, the people that I would like for them to come in the spotlight, who haven't been speaking in this platform. First and foremost is our regular guest, Jessica. I know she doesn't mind. She'll break the ice for us, especially for our guests. And because I'm sure she has seen how this segment works, and she will be happy to do that. So Jessica Klapo, ma'am, if you don't mind, I have a question for you. And for others, please pay attention as she takes that 1 to 2 minutes on how she's answering that question. So the question can be about anything. It might not give you clue, but it's just give you that head start on what to speak about. It's all up to you. I'll just give you a question and repeat the question, and the stage is yours afterwards. You have 1 to 2 minutes. So the question for our first guest, Jessica Klapo, is, if it's not now, then when? If it's not now, then when? Over to you, Jessica Klapo.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster. If not now, then when? Quite a tricky one to think about. I find myself at this present time, as I have shared with quite a few of the members on the group and on Toastmasters. I recently came into a situation where I was contemplating making a decision as to what I was going to do with myself when I became an empty nester, because my daughter had finished her studies at university. And one of the things that I had always contemplated in the past was to come and leave the city. I'm originally from Cape Town. I'm speaking from the Eastern Cape in Queenstown, and outside of Queenstown is a village, and it's called Mitford. That is where my aging mom, she's widowed, she's 88, she's on her own. So I contemplated it, thought about it, and thought to myself, okay, instead of hanging around as a city girl in Cape Town, why don't I come out and try something new, being in a completely different environment? That's when I moved down to Mitford. When I arrived here, things were different. And I always tend to challenge myself in life to learn different skills, learn different things, and make yourself available to be in any part of the world, thrive, and make absolutely sure that you survive. So I came to Mitford, and it's been just over 2 years now. And one of the things that I managed to adapt to is getting my hands dirty in soil. What I mean by that, I just thought, you know what? Forget about the manicures and the makeup that you used to and stilettos back home. There's so much plots around here. I then learned how to start planting vegetables. The first and important one was spinach. And when I think about it now, I think to myself, what a gift from, for me to receive from above, because we always tend to forget where openings, if I am correct, where openings come to just challenge yourself to go in there and do something different. So as I speak now, I have fallen in love with thinking of starting farming on a very, very small scale. And when I say on a very small scale, when I touch the soil and once I have put in seeds and see it grows, it just ignites such a delight in me that it actually becomes almost like an appetency, for me to just push forward and do something that is great. And I thought to myself, how interesting to see, had I not moved, when would I have taken a challenge to just go and try something completely different in the same country that I was born in, just outside a city life. And I hope that that's the question that you wanted to hear me say. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Back to you.
That was a mouthful, Jessica. Thank you so much. Before I forget, let me ask Sibongile. I see her hand is up. What she wanted to say. Sibongile.
I was cutting her off. She was taking too long. Timer, please do your thing.
You know what? This is why I love Toastmasters. People come here. If you love to speak, I mean, where else can you be? We see those people who love to talk in these moments where they don't even pay attention to time. So I asked that question intentionally because Jessica is a regular guest. If not there, if not now, then when? I was thinking maybe she will tell us when is she going to officially join us in the club since she's a regular guest. But it's okay, you can answer that question later on in relation to the club. Anyways, let me take two more fellow Toastmasters. We usually take on average three people in this segment. And my next guest to answer the question is none other than Tabiseng Mahlobo. She's also a guest. And Tabi, if you don't mind, the question would be more also related to the theme of the evening, this meeting, which is the magic of new beginning. My question to you is, when was the last time you tried something new? When was the last time you tried something new? Tabiseng Mahlobo, over to you, ma'am. I hope you are still with us and also pay attention to
Am I
time.
audible?
Loud and clear. Yes, you are.
Unfortunately, I can't switch on the video, but when was the last time I tried something new? It's been a while, but one thing that is common with the previous speaker is I tried going back to planting. And during this winter, it's been an interesting one. We had plants that grew and others that didn't grow. And getting back into research as to why others are growing and why others are not growing was fascinating. Having to take the children through the whole process. So the last time I tried something completely new, it was a couple of years ago. But farming is the one thing I tried out. We've done worm farming, and that has been an experience for me. Thank you.
Lovely, short and sweet, yet straight to the point. Thank you so much, Ntabiseng. Maybe we can all let's not be shy. After as soon as the speaker finished speaking, let's unmute and then give him a big round of applause. So maybe if it's too late now, let's try to do that with our last guest who was about to take the virtual stage right now. Her name is none other than Zerina. Zerina, I have a question for you. I understand your video situation. If you can just unmute and then I will ask the question and then you will take it over. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes. The question for you is, what do you imagine yourself doing 10 years from now? What do you imagine yourself doing 10 years from now? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to paint a scenario. I'm just going to close my eyes and envision it. 10 years from now, my own house, preferably in Belito. My kids are at extramural activities, and I am at home on the laptop. I am doing social media management with lots of clients, big clients, Google, if I can just visualize here. Life is comfortable. Life is all about growth. It's all about doing more, seeing more, health, wealth, creation. Yeah, that's what I picture. That's what I picture. I picture waking up and smiling, being grateful for being alive. Not that I'm not right now. I'm grateful every day. But yeah, that's what I picture 10 years from now. An easy life, a happy life, a life for my kids as well. Yeah, that's what I see.
You were so articulate. You were so eloquent in painting the picture you wanted us to see. You did a stellar job. Thank you so much. We saw it and it's
Thank you.
beautiful. Yes, now I think everyone can unmute and give all our participants in the table topics a big round of applause. Thank you so much. We love it.
Well
We love it. We love it. Thank you one more time. I think let's try now to be swift with our evaluations. That's the next segment. We've concluded the table topics. Thank you, everyone. Now I will hand back again to the Toastmaster of the evening, who will be facilitating the prepared speeches. Unless I'm missing something, everyone. Okay, cool. I think I had someone trying to clear the throat or something there as if I missed something or whatever. But anyways, thank you once again to our valued guest for participating in the table topics. Now, Toastmaster of the day, Mr. James, I hope you are still with us. Please, you can now call on stage your two evaluators to evaluate the speakers that we had this evening. Over to you, sir.
Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. We're now in the last segment of the meeting, and we have the two evaluators evaluating first Brian Matia, and then we have the evaluator for Tekla Moforo. So I'd like to call to the virtual stage. The first evaluator, I believe, is Male. So over to you, and we are waiting for
I think the
this
first one
evaluation
was
for the first speaker.
the first one was Anna, and then Malay was second.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. Anna, please, we welcome you to the virtual stage for the evaluation
Great.
for the first speaker.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you. We really appreciate a wonderful presentation that we've made. Can you kindly confirm if you can hear me?
Loud and clear, ma'am, yes.
Great. Your speech was very informative, insightful. You were interacting with us. We had fun actually listening to you. We learned a lot. One of the things that I learned was shared meaning and shared understanding. And I just love the tone that you used when you emphasize the shared meaning and shared understanding. You were very clear in terms of explaining what communication is. You even went to an extent of defining it from a dictionary perspective, which I really appreciate. Thanks as well for having quoted some authors to show that you researched on the speech that you were sharing with us. I liked the part where you were pausing, which you were giving us a moment to think about your speech. You emphasized critical points. You also smiled and you were relaxed in your speech. It showed that you were really prepared to share with us. The other part was the gestures that you showed. There was a time when you were talking about a person who's sad or who's angry, and you were able to demonstrate that with your face. That was very good. You were able to give examples, which is very critical in terms of the speech for people to follow. You showed a sense of humor and you were so calm. That was very great. The thing that I wanted to ask you, perhaps to look in the future, is to stand up while you're giving a speech. The other one is just keeping the pace. There was some time where you were slow and sometimes you were a bit on track. So if you can just improve in terms of your flow so that you don't become slow, but well done. Thank you so much for the great presentation you have made tonight with your speech. Thank you, Toastmaster of the night. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Anna. I appreciate.
Okay, do we still have the Toastmaster of the evening with us? If not, maybe we can call Malay on stage to give us the evaluation for Tekla.
Thank you very much. And I have the honor of evaluating Tekla, who has just finished her pathway. And I think we did congratulate her, and we can't congratulate you enough for all the hard work that you have put in. And it came across in your speech, in the level of maturity of your speech. So a really big well done to you for putting in the work. It was lovely. It was engaging. We were there with you. I think one of the challenges with the virtual meetings or virtual settings is that we are not in person, so we can't see you, but we had the visuals. We could see you. You had clever use of your space. We could see your gestures. So we were really there with you. And I think you really nailed the purpose of the speech, which was for you to share with us your learnings, your experiences. You took us through your lows and your highs when you completed your pathway. I mean, there was a time where you were also laughing. So it was not only an informative speech, it was also humorous. You know, we could laugh with you. We saw the emotion. In the beginning, you spoke about how frustrating it was and how challenging it was. And we could also see that in your facial expression. So it was very expressive, and we really enjoyed that. You mentioned uphill battle. I really enjoyed that. I actually have this note as part of my grammarian report because I'm wearing two hats, but I really enjoyed that because it was the first time where I actually visualized what uphill battle really meant. And this came from how you actually said it. Because for me, I've always taken it for granted. I think everybody knows what uphill battle is. But when you were explaining it, that you were going up, you know, you are facing challenges, but you're facing them head on. You're going up, you're not going down. I really liked that. And you also, the speech structure, it was good. So well done on that. And I would really say, in order for you, and I mean, with your speech, you spoke about how, you know, you challenged yourself, you got out of your comfort zone. So it was really a relatable speech, and it was clear, vocal variety, very good. Eye contact, you seem to be a bit at an angle, so I would really challenge you next time to really face the camera, to be in line with the camera. Your gestures, like I said, good. Audience awareness, good. It was a virtual podium, and you really owned your stage. You seemed comfortable. You were laughing with us. We were there with you, and you really sparked the interest. So it was really well done. And now you're going back to doing your icebreaker. So congratulations, and we wish you all the best. You are not starting from scratch when you'll be doing your icebreaker. So we wish you all the best and a really, really well done. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all our evaluators. I hope James is still with us. I am not sure. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, let us... Okay, but it's okay. It's okay, sir. I think let's now give our evaluators, both of them, a huge, huge round of applause for doing those stellar jobs. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. Okay. Where are we now? Right. I think now I should be allowed, I'm looking at the program at this point. I think it is the role of the general evaluator to come on stage and then let her team to report on their respective roles. Without further ado, Madam GE, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time where we give our evaluation. Please, to our guests, this is very important at Toastmasters because this is where we evaluate our progress and our improvement. As a club, where we check the quality of the club, whether we are still adhering to Toastmasters principles, values, and mission, all those beautiful things that the president gave us earlier at his opening address. So now I would like to call upon I'm going to start with the timer. Madam Timer, please give us the time of all the sessions that you were timing. Over to you.
Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters. My role will be very short. Mine is to give feedback on the times as per the speeches, sorry. I'll start with the table topics. For the table topics, we had 3 speakers. One was Jessica Nhlapo, who spoke for 3 minutes, 22 seconds. Was she within time? The answer is no. Our second speaker was Ntabiseng Mahlobo. She spoke for 56 seconds. Was she within time? Yes. Thereafter, we had Zarina. Zarina spoke for 1 minute, 12 seconds. Was she within time? And the answer is yes. Moving right along, I'll go to the prepared speeches. We had 2 beautiful speakers here. One was Brian. The second one was Tekla. Brian, the allocated time is 5 to 7 minutes. He spoke for exactly 7 minutes, 18 seconds, slightly over by 18 seconds. Our second speaker was then Tekla. The allocated time was between 10 to 12 minutes. She spoke for 11 minutes, 57 seconds, and she was within time. Moving right along to our evaluators, we had Anna Mvubu evaluating Brian. The allocated time is 2 to 3 minutes. She spoke or she gave her feedback for 2 minutes, 5 seconds. She was within time. Our last evaluator was Malisho Honolo evaluating Tekla. She spoke for 2 minutes, 59 seconds. She was within time. That's it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Apologies for the mishap in the beginning. I managed to find my way around. I noted that even because of being anxious, I didn't even tell at what stages would I be lifting the red or the yellow flags. Apologies for that. Next time, it will go well.
No problem, Madam Timer. You've given your report and you've even given a part of my report. So I will scratch that out from my report. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now call upon our grammarian to come to the virtual podium and give us her report.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, for the evening. So I'm back to give the grammarian report. So in terms of the usage of the word of the day, that's also one of the things that I was policing, which we did quite poorly on. I believe only 3 people used the word of the day, and that was Sibongile right in the beginning. She said appetizing. We had Tabo, who I believe said appetitive. And we had Jessica at the end using appetency. So we are really encouraged, ladies and gentlemen, to use the word of the day. It's one way that we also get to learn a new word, and by using it, it sticks. So you are encouraged next time when you attend a Toastmasters meeting, if you're a visitor, and the guests, I'm sure they know how we use the word of the day. So really, it's encouraged that we do make use of it. And thank you to those that have observed it and used it. Coming to improper use, I did not note any improper use at the moment or tonight. Maybe I was playing good cop. And I have noted, though, the good use of language. There were some particular words and sayings that I thought added to the quality of our meeting. In the beginning, we heard our general evaluator use the word consumes everything South African. That was such a clever use of words and playing around with words. And we also had shared meaning, shared understanding by Brian, our first speaker of the evening. And I think that's something we can truly take away. I've never thought of communication in that sense, to say, actually, when we communicate, we are sharing meaning, and we need to be able to be on the same path, or we need to have the same level of understanding. And it takes, for communication to happen, it takes meaning and it takes understanding or being receptive. He also said with us, rule the world with our words. And I think also the repetitiveness of it made it stick. We had Tekla, our second speech of the evening, who mentioned Facebook was dormant. I believe it's not as dormant as mine. I am by no means a social media person, so all of my social media accounts are super, super dormant. But I could relate to that, and I did note that down. We had James talking about reviving my motivation after Tekla gave her speech, which was really exceptional. We had our guest for tonight speak about how his family is so central in what he does. And that was so profound for me. And it's also in the way that he said it. You know, words, you can say words, but how you say them also help to convey meaning. So it's not just about what you are saying, it's also how you are saying it. We also had our guest speaker, Tabo, speak about tapping into the magic. So that also brought that to life, to really tap into the magic. And I think he also referred quite a lot to our theme of the evening, which is something that I found to be quite beautiful. We also had Jessica speak about ignite the light in me. Dr. Sibo spoke about articulate, eloquent. Those are words that are always, add to our usage of the language. There's plenty other words that were mentioned tonight, but in the interest of time, I will end there. Apologies if I did not pick you up, if you have used the word of the evening, or if you have said something profound. I'm sure somebody else has taken it. This is not limited to that, but these are just some highlights that I have noted down. And in closing, there is a very nice quote that Brian has put in the chat. This was while we had our guest speaker, or after Zbongile had actually asked our guest speaker about people being neglected. And I will read it. This is what Brian wrote in the chat. He says, the greatest resource of any company walks in the morning and walks out in the evening, the people. I will read it again. The greatest resource of any company walks in the morning and walks out in the evening, and that is the people. So a very big thank you to everyone for contributing to the meeting. That is me signing out.
Thank you so much, Mali, for that report. Comprehensive. Thank you so much and quite informative. I love the fact that at Toastmasters we learn listening skills. Now I would like to call upon our accountant to come to the virtual podium and give us their report. Madam Accountant.
Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, visitors and guests. My report is very short tonight. I only picked up a few filler words. James had 2 R's and Zarina had 1 and 1 R. My report ends there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Akant. I think you're very generous with us tonight. We have another good cop in terms of our role players. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to give my report. I will also try and be quite brief on it because I do have the tendency of being very detailed. That's what I'm notorious of. However, looking at the appetency of this meeting, I mean, the theme, everything was infused into the theme of the meeting. I need to say well done on that. The meeting started at 6:05. And at the time already, the president of the club was welcoming all the guests and visitors. And our president was playing numerous roles. So he started the meeting as well as the SAA and rang the gong for us to start. Then he gave us the background of the club, welcomed everybody, gave us the VIPs and the MVPs of the club and of Toastmasters. Thank you for that. Then the program started. He had the general evaluator describing her role, the grammarian describing their role, our counter, timer, and then we had a toast. Toastmaster of the day came to the podium to run the meeting. I must say, as a first-time James, I'm assuming you did very well. What I can evaluate you on is perhaps next time, make sure that you get the information you require on time and you prepare for the meeting. As the Toastmaster of the evening, you are the master of ceremonies. You are running the feel, the atmosphere of the entire meeting. It all depends on you. And if you can perhaps I've got a call. Make sure that if anything, also if you want to set the mood, the tone of the meeting, you can touch base with your general evaluator, with your other players, and tell them how you want the meeting to be, how you want it, either you want it to be fun, you want it to be exciting, you want it to be playful. It's all up to you. So that would be my evaluation points to you, but kudos to you for taking the challenge, firstly, and for showing up. Thank you so much. Then we went on. At that time, I noted that we had 15 participants, and we've managed to stay almost at 15 participants, even though some fell off during the call. Then we had the first evaluator who came on to give the description of the first speech, objectives. Brian, I loved the fact that you gave a disclaimer right from the beginning of your speech that you are sitting down. You told us, and your evaluator did not miss that. That was beautiful. And I love how you taught us a new way of viewing communication. That was beautiful. I will not forget your speech. I might have forgotten the entire 5 minutes, but there's a minute that I will always remember. Then we went to the second evaluator, Male, who then introduced the second speaker and gave their objectives. That was Tekla. Beautiful, beautiful speech. I love the fact that you did stand. It showed that you were at level 5. You were graduating from a pathway. What stood out for me was your background and your lighting. Normally when we use the background, people fade as they are giving their speeches because they need to use their space. You did not fade out of your background. That was beautifully done. Kudos to you. And I loved also how your speech tied up with the theme, the magic of new beginnings. And that's what I noted. And then also I realized when I looked at your name, Global Women Extraordinaire, I belong to that book club as well. So I thought I knew you from somewhere when I saw that. The book club that is started by Zuvai Matondo. And then I noted at that time that we had 14 participants. So we had 1 fall off. Then we had our recess. I loved the recess session. I know that a lot of Toastmasters Club have done away with the recess session. Well done to you, visionary readers, for bringing that back. That really, really helps the evaluators to exchange notes so that they give valuable feedback to our speakers. And also, it was networking. It was us getting to know each other. That was beautifully done. We had our guest speaker, Tabo. Beautiful, beautiful book that you shared with us, your book. We would love to have it. Dr. Sibu, you know I'll be placing that order via you. And I liked how throughout your book review, you stuck to the theme of this meeting and you brought your book alive according to the theme as well. And hence it could even take me as a supply chain person thinking about where I am, as much as it wasn't really interlinked, but it had dotted lines that went through it. Thank you so much. I don't want to go into those too detailed points. I will ask you on the side. And then we had our table topics. Table topics. Thank you, Dr. Sibu. That was beautifully done and it was on time. You made sure you are doing it like a pro now, hey? You're choosing your speakers. You know who you want to target and why you want to target. The questions were relevant to each speaker. That was beautifully, beautifully done. Then we had our evaluations, Toastmasters and guests. At Toastmasters, we value feedback. We normally say feedback is the breakfast of champions. And our normal default into evaluations, we do the sandwich method, where you give a speaker things that they excelled at and then something they need to work on, and you give them a challenge. I must say, our evaluators, you need to work a little bit on this one, because I noted that our first evaluator started beautifully, giving us things that the speaker has excelled at, giving something to work on, but failed to give a challenge. Please always try and give speakers a challenge, something that they can challenge themselves for in their next speech. And our second evaluator also highlighted the things that the speaker excelled at and gave a challenge. I was like, yay! But then she failed to give her something to work on. Let's always remember these three, it's a sandwich, and it will amplify and help the speaker improve, irregardless whether it's a nervous speaker or it's an advanced speaker. And then we go to our reports. Madam Timer, thank you so much. But I wanted to highlight one thing I noted. Our table topic speaker that spoke for 56 seconds, that was not on time. If this was contest, they would have failed. They would not go to the next round. So it needs to be at least a minute and above. That's all I'm going to say. And I love the fact that you evaluated your own shortcomings. I love the fact that you are learning and you are learning on the spot, and I will be watching you again. I'm hoping you become the timer again and I become the general evaluator to see that you have improved on those shortcomings that you experienced right at the beginning. Madam Grammarian, short, to the point, thank you so much. Madam R Counter, short, to the point, but I think you missed a few of my ums and ahs, because we are nervous at the beginning when we start, and then we sort of mellow in and settle, and our confidence come as we are speaking along. All in all, beautiful meeting, visionary readers, and we are still at 13 participants in this meeting. We have consistently stayed with the same members from beginning to the end, and that doesn't happen all the time. It means we are able to captivate and engage our participants and impart valuable nuggets and information. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Right, let me take over from here, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I must start by saying thanks to all of you, especially the role players, for participating and doing a stellar job in whatever role we're playing this evening. I thank you all, and also for being generous with your time. We always promise that our meetings are only 2 hours, meaning by 8 o'clock, we're supposed to be leaving the meeting, but we are still here. With that being said, I have two announcements before I let everyone go. I will take 2 minutes. The first one is regarding our next meeting. We meet every second and fourth Friday of the month. So that means our next meeting will be on the 26th of July. It's going to be a Friday, same time. First announcement. Then the second announcement is we love to have fun in this club, especially even at the end. So we love to take selfies. The announcement is please switch your video and smile, because in the next 10 seconds, I will be taking selfies for social media, for PR, you name it. So I'm waiting for a few of our members. I understand there are those who can't show themselves on video. 10 seconds, 9, 8, if we can get our guest speaker, there's Jessica. If only our guest speaker can show himself on the video, I will be happy. Then